those of WVTC, iNetworks Communications, their subsidiaries, affiliates, or financial supporters.
Hey, it's Brian Sewell, the mortgage doctor, in the house with y'all, and I got a full deck here. It should be a fun show, guys. So I got the Wilson team in. I want to just first say thank you guys for being in.
No problem.
Cool.
Thank you for having us.
Yeah, cool. We're gonna have a lot of fun today, guys. Look, we're gonna talk about the current market, the real estate market, and financial market, and how to get through some of these things. But we're just gonna be real with you guys, because I think that's the best practice, is to give you true live stories of how we've got all entrepreneurs in this room and things we had to overcome. We want to share those things with you, and we want to give you encouragement to be able to buy today. So I like to start off my show with the purpose of this show. We started doing this show a couple of years ago. We took a little bit of a break, and Franklin asked me to do this. And one of the things we like to talk about is we want to help every single person. I don't care what background you come from, Black, white, Hispanic, purple, green, I don't care. We help you attain the American dream of home ownership. And doing that, we do it with 3 E's, I like to call it. We're going to educate you, we're going to encourage you, we're going to empower you to make a sound decision. We'll always tell you the truth. I say this a lot. You guys have all heard me say this. It ain't sexy, but we'll never lie to you. So that being said, I've got Tracy Wilson on my right. It's left on the screen, right? Former NFL football player, NIU star. I've got Sadon Wilson, am I saying that right? On my left, and his beautiful wife, Kathy Wilson, on my left. I say it right. I'm going to start off with, you like to be called Don or Sadon? Which one you want?
Sadon.
Sadon, okay. Yeah. I'm going to start off with Sadon. So give us a little bit of a background on you guys, Element, where you guys are from, and all that type of stuff. The team.
Okay. Well, my name is Sadon Wilson. This is our team, Team Wilson. Our company is Premier Midwest Realty. We're out of South Holland, Illinois. And we are the South Suburban area go-to realtors. We kind of specify, or what we do is workshops. We work with buyers, sellers, but what we plan on doing, or our mission, is to help people with home ownership. My wife and I got that goal of home ownership about 10 years ago. And we loved it so much that we educated ourselves and we became realtors ourselves. And we want to spread that across the Chicagoland area. And that's one of our missions, just to work with first-time home buyers, first-time sellers, and help you reach your goals.
Cool. Thank you for sharing that. Yes. I wouldn't normally go to your wife, but I'm going to go to the right. I'm going to mess this up. Tracy, go ahead. Give us a little bit of background on yourself. And by the way, guys, this is you talking to the mortgage doctor here. I've got the Wilson team here from PMR Realty, right? Mm-hmm. And we're just here to share some really good information to help you become homeowners. I got Tracy Wilson on my right here. So give us a little bit of background on you and why you're doing this.
Appreciate it, Brian. Yeah. This is my second month with my realtor's license. So
congratulations.
Yeah, I'm the rookie of the team. But I've been really fortunate to come to a great situation. Being a part of the Wilson team, I've been able to come and jump right underneath my uncle's wing and his wife as well, Kathy. Brief background about myself. Graduated from NIU 2011.
Gosh, tell my age. I appreciate that.
Played 2
Baby.
years after that. 1 year with the Jets, 1 year with the Tennessee Titans as well. After that, entrepreneurship is kind of my main thing. I really preach entrepreneurship. Owning your own. I started a truck company with my brother. For the Family Logistics Inc. So we still running that right now. We have 26-foot box trucks. And like I said, I recently just got my obtained real estate license. So MLS number 267705.
I like it. That's we're gonna get to all of this still. Like, we got shout outs. We're gonna give you a phone number later.
No. But no, so I really got into it for really generational wealth. Like I said, I played football. My main thing was, what can I pass down to my kids? I don't have kids right now. I know one day I will be blessed with kids, but I don't have them yet. But, what can I pass down to them? Football or sports, maybe they don't want to do that. It's really like a 0.0% or 1% chance that you will make it to the NFL or make it professional. So,
but you did it.
Yeah,
that's
that's
good.
great.
Yes, amazing.
So just something that you probably can't pass down unless it is a legacy, based like
those genes make a difference, man. I talk about, look at Deion's kids.
No, they do. But in most situations, you're not probably gonna do that. So something that I could really pass down. That's why I started a business, and also home ownership. Real estate. That's generational wealth right there. I love that's it. The number one wealth builder. So.
It is.
That's really my reason for getting into real estate. The education part. I'm a huge advocate of home ownership. And really teaching now, understanding now, and teaching now to others in my community how to really become a homeowner, because it's a process that sometimes can be somewhat scary, but if you taught it, it's really easy. So that's really why I'm in it.
We're going to address a lot of things you said, but thank you for sharing. You gave me some more topics I want to hit on before we leave, and we're definitely going to see some questions on there that popped up. I think I want you to answer that question a little bit later on about your football career and all. So we'll dive deep into some personal stories. We're going to keep shouting, and then we got to let the boss of the family. I learned. I've been married for 22 years, guys, so I've learned what to say. Again, we talked about this. I'm sorry. I'll do better. I love you. Move on. Okay, Kathy, what's going on? I'm a man. I make mistakes. So, Kathy, the boss of the operation, right? Talk to the audience about real estate and about you first. Yeah.
Sure. So I'm more the brains, not the ball playing. But no, I actually never thought I would see myself in real estate, because real estate to me was always sales. Mm-hmm. And I am naturally a teacher. And so when my husband wanted to go into real estate, I kind of fell back and he drugged me in. And I have now realized the purpose that I have, which is to teach homeownership, to teach owning your own, because it's really just you hear just such stories in the business, and we are not only realtors, we are counselors, the list is long, but being able to teach those that do not know anything about ownership is just a beautiful process. And so that's why we came to love our first-time home buyers, especially because you just don't know what you don't know. And it's a lot easier than many people think. So that's why I'm here. I've been here. I've tried to quit a number of times, but real estate is life. I noticed even when I was, hated real estate during the day, and I'm like, I'm done. I'm driving around looking at roofs of houses, and I'm like, oh, that they need a new roof over there. And I'm like, real estate is truly life. And I am able now to teach my family and bring my family into real estate. And the generational wealth that Tracy spoke of is truly our mission, because it should be everyone's dream. Should be.
That's good. So you unpacked a lot there too. Okay, so I haven't had three people in the studio in a while. It's been like a couple of years. So I'm gonna try to be a good interviewer and not take over the show. So when you think about owning real estate, you said some of the challenges, and we'll come right back to you. So let's talk about some of those challenges and how we can help the average consumer, people that may be looking in, face those?
Yes.
We don't share that.
I think the biggest challenge is the I'm not gonna say ignorance, but it's the knowledge. It's you just do not know what you don't know. And many people know what it takes to have to rent. You know what the qualifications to rent a house are. More than likely in today's market, if you can qualify to rent, you could be qualified to buy. You just do not know.
Explain that, and I'll talk about it from a lending perspective. But like when you're paying rent, right? You manage some rentals and things of that nature. For what is some of the landlords requiring?
Rental requirements are usually a 600 and above credit score, many times 660 and above credit score. They want you to make three.
So they're higher than lender requirements.
They're higher. Yes, they're higher.
One notch for us on the lending side, by the way. Brian Soul, shameless plug, Cherokee Mortgage Division of Yale. We will give you the money. So keep going.
Yes.
So they want a 600 to 660. Okay.
Yes.
Keep going.
They want 3 times the monthly rent. They want you to make.
So let's say your rent is $2,000 a month. They want $6,000.
They want you to be making $6,000.
Okay.
Take home.
Oh, whatever. Okay. So they want you to be at a 30%. Right, 3 times. They want you to be 1/3 of your income. And again,
Yes.
we could go up to 40, 50% at times. Not that we want to push you, but that's that. They're harder than lenders. Notch 2. I didn't know we were going down this road, but I can tell you, I love
Oh,
providing.
yeah.
So notch 2. So let me write that down so I don't forget. So we're gonna put landlord, lender. We're in a competition here. So
Okay.
landlord wants 600 to 660. Lender can get away with 580 to 620 or up right there. Landlord wants 3 times the amount for you to make. So that means you got to be at a 33% debt ratio, correct?
That's
We'll
correct.
go up to 50. Okay. All right, keep going.
That's correct.
What about money? I mean, depending on what do they ask for?
So generally they want first month's rent, last month's rent, and a full security deposit.
First and last month and security. So I did that right. So that's 3 times. So if your rent was
Yes.
$2,000, they want 6.
They want $6,000. Yes.
Okay.
That's
Yes.
if your credit score
If your credit score is good.
is
Yes.
good. So it's not, they might ask for 2 months rent or 3 months rent.
So who do I want to pick? I want to pick on Sadan. So look, if you've got a client and you're able to get, let's say, 3% towards closing, and we give them a grant, we could probably get away with 1% down.
Oh, yeah.
So we got 3% here, basically, right, in this example,
Mhm.
maybe at 1%. So let's just say it's better to own a home, numbers wise.
Oh, yeah. We've had scenarios where clients have gotten checks at closing.
Yeah, well, yeah, right. With the tax credit, Illinois, and
Tax
things like
credit,
that.
so-
Yeah, if you get enough credits. I mean, sometimes in this market, because you have sellers pushing back a little bit, you don't always get all the credits that you want to get. But to me, it's still better than somebody throwing money away in rent.
Oh, yeah.
Mhm.
And here's the key. Demont, I don't know if you can pull up that screen I like to show all the time. You're automatically logged in there, right? You should be a pro now. We're not gonna spell, but here's the key. You're paying somebody's rent.
Mhm.
Oh, yeah.
Well, I mean, or somebody's mortgage. I apologize for saying that. So whether you doing the landlord thing, you say I don't want the responsibility. Let's just going back to my managing brokers here. If I'm collecting 6,000 and something breaks down for 2,000, am I going to you as the renter to pay for that, or am I paying for it? I mean, as a landlord, more than likely
The landlord's
the landlord's
The
gonna pay for it.
landlord's gonna pay
But who
for it,
technically
yeah.
paid for it though?
The renter.
The renter, because you giving me money to pay for it, right?
Right.
Somebody say, I don't want to cut my grass. If it costs me $50 a month or $20 a week to cut grass, so 4 weeks, so let's call it $80 a month, and I'm charging you $2,000 in rent. So who's paying for the people to cut the grass?
Yeah.
Is the landlord paying, or are you,
Right.
the renter is? So that's where I want you guys to start thinking a little different. Not these people. No, I'm talking about you guys. You know that when you go about thinking that, hey, I'm not responsible, you know, you technically are.
Yeah.
And and just the examples that Kathy gave, but we can, you know, you can own a home for less than paying rent right now. And maybe, and let's say it costs you more to own a home monthly. Let's say the rent is 2,000, your mortgage payment is 2,200. You're still winning because you guys talked to me. What are the benefits? The property value goes what? Appreciates. You can write off the interest and property taxes, right? So these are things, these are benefits you get, and it's yours. I mean,
Yeah.
we talk about the financial benefits all the time on the show. Like, I'm just going to go down the aisle here. I'm going to go back to Tracy. Let's talk about a benefit of home ownership besides money. I mean, we're going to assume people know the financial benefits. We'll come back to it. But let's just talk about you owning your own compared to if you were subject to what a landlord.
If you're owning your own, to me personally, like I said, you can eventually pass it down.
I love that.
Or pass it on, whether it's pass it down or pass it on. You can keep it in your family.
So keep it in family. So that's wealth. You just talked about wealth without talking about money. He just passed it on. I love that.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Chris Rock used to make the joke. You want to leave a bill or a will, right?
Exactly.
So I mean, we need to leave a will, right? Yeah. So pass it on to wealth. What about you, Scott?
So I wanted to tell a story real quick.
Okay, absolutely. Go ahead.
This happened 2 days ago with a buyer that we're taking out shopping. The buyer, the inventory is a little low right now. So for buyers, you have to be a competitive, strong buyer in this market. This buyer is a very competitive buyer. She has a great job, great credit profile. And as we were shopping for homes, she asked us, hey, I'm interested in the home that I'm renting. So she asked us a few questions, Brian. She said, over the years, I've probably spent about $80,000 in rents.
Over 4 years.
Over 4 years. And she asked me, I believe it was 8 years, not 4 years. And then she asked us, hey, do you think the landlord would consider deducting any of that amount off?
So she's paying about $833 a month. Yep. That's a small number, but go ahead.
Yeah, she's paying a lot more than that.
Yep.
So as we were explaining to her, we can always ask, but put yourself in the landlord's shoes. Why would the landlord do that? Why would the landlord discount the property to you unless it's just a sentimental thing? Other than that, you've paid for his kids' tuition. You've did these things at being a renter, and that money you're pretty much not going to see that money again. That money is gone. With a mortgage, you can kind of think of it like a 401k. It's like a savings. Every time you make
savings, yeah.
It's a forced savings. Every time you make a payment, that principal is coming down, and that's going to eventually go back into your pocket. And it's just like the stock market. If the value of the homes go up, you get that principal that you're paying off plus the appreciated value. When you're renting, you're throwing the money away every single month.
You're
throwing it away. It's not even in a market now where your mortgage note might be a little bit higher. It's still a better opportunity right now to own your home because you are saving yourself money.
Right, regardless of rate.
Because at
the end of the day, if you're paying rent, your rate is what? 1,000%, 100%?
100%.
Right, because you don't get to deduct it, it doesn't benefit you.
Yeah.
Besides you being able to have a place, a roof over your head, so we don't want to be ungrateful for that. We're just trying to show you ways that you can build wealth. Love that you both hit that angle. Kat, you got a high ceiling hit there. But
she's the brains.
Yeah. So again, I'm gonna let Kathy share. Give us one of the benefits you think of home ownership.
So the biggest benefit that I see is that when you own your home, you control your space. Mm-hmm. That is your space. When you are renting, so we do a lot of rentals. For owners, we are renting their places out for them. And the stories that we hear from potential tenants are just you can't believe what you would hear. So, but a lot of the time it's, I have to move now because the owner is selling the place, or because the owner took the rent from me but did not pay his mortgage. Yeah. And so now I have to leave. If you own your home, you're in that control. No one can kick you out of your own home like that. And so it's safe. It's stable.
Man, that's good.
That's the biggest thing I think I take from rent versus owning your home.
I hear that a lot from, and I'm not being a sexist here, but I hear that a lot from women. And I agree with it. The home is safety. It's your safety net. It's where you want to be at. And I think, man, we agree with this too. You get home, hard day at work, you come home, you want to lay your hair down, no pun intended, right? but you want that safety. I love that you touched on that, you know, place for your kids to grow up. And they talked about this, and you look at the research on it, is that kids that are not moving over and over again, they live in a more stable home, the education is a little bit better, you know, so they grow up to be more successful than compared to that you hear about people that's moving all the time.
Yeah.
That's the thing. Like if the landlord wants to sell this place, you know, they can turn around, sell it in 2 years, and then you got to find a place to stay. Whereas you own it, you make the decision. I like that. You talked about savings. That's good. All you guys have given good answers, and we can probably go around and around again and give more answers to home ownership. But that's the thing, you know, building wealth is, and I know I said this in the beginning, the purpose of the show is we want to help everyone, but I want to speak to our people for a little bit. Because I mean, when I say our people, you know, my white friends, you my people too. Okay. Yeah, we love, but I'm talking about my people, I'm talking about African Americans, is that some of this doesn't get passed on to us. We don't get taught some of these things, you know, about the wealth part. So I want us to be able to talk and share more to that degree, because a lot of times, like I'll see people give up sometimes just because they have to go get an extra pay stub or document a large deposit. It's not the same as buying a car, guys. And but the benefits outweigh the extra paperwork you have to do. You know, it's not just one page; it might be 50 pages, right? The things you got to get. But I want you guys to talk on that. I mean, I'll jump in, but just talk from your heart. Speak. I want people to know you. And you all know we all had some struggles to go through. Okay, you know that we had some challenges to overcome. Who's last? Tracy, go ahead. We'll let you go first.
I'll start.
Yes, we'll let the brains of the operation go first. Sorry, I ain't look. She said it first. I'm just agreeing.
But no, for me, it's a big. We have a large family, so my husband and I have 7 children.
Okay.
We can't really rent. Because when we have to, there's not enough space on the application to fill out all of these children. And we actually found ourselves in that situation where we needed a bigger space, a new space. And we had to come to that realization. We can't go rent anywhere.
How big is that house of yours? Like 8,000 square feet?
We need 8,000 square feet. But it just came to that situation that we needed to find somewhere to go. And it was, we can't rent. They're not going to accept us as a large family, a lot of landlords. And we need to get ourselves prepared to buy. And that was the realization that we made to be able to purchase a house, and started really just making the moves.
Yeah.
So we did a self.
Wait a minute, hold on. I gotta mess with her for a second. You know, so I tease a lot, guys. This is not playing. So you know, the question was, talk to our people. So are you saying all our people got 7 kids? I mean, it's similar. It's 14 of us. Okay, so I only try to say, you know, are you telling us to find a new hobby?
My goodness. My goodness. I don't recommend it, but
right.
You know.
So no, but you're speaking in terms of just being able to have the freedom. I know where you're going. I just have to tease.
Yes.
So.
Yeah.
So I'm sorry, I'm picking on. He's like, stop picking on my wife. Listen, don't do a Will Smith on me now. I'm just having fun. Yo, no. All right, go ahead, Moss.
Yeah, just to kind of piggyback off of my wife was talking about. We had to self do everything. So we did self credit repair. We researched our own credit. We did the preparation. So we had to find a starting place. And we know now, doing it ourselves, the first place we started was with a realtor. So the realtor showed us, hey, you know what? You don't have to get a credit repair specialist. You don't have to do this. You don't have to do that. You know, here are some resources. Call your debt collectors, negotiate. But if we didn't have a game plan and a strategic timeline, we wouldn't have been able to accomplish it. I totally didn't believe we were going to be able to move into the neighborhood that we wanted to live in, get the quality of house, the quality, not settling for a house, but getting a quality house that I wanted. It was because we took the time and we planned it out. Once we were able to acquire it, we felt like, wow, we mastered this plan. We mastered the steps. We were already had a real estate background, but we weren't helping other people's with it. We were helping like investors and we were building home, things of that nature. But now we had, during that process, we said to ourselves, hey, this is what we want to do. We have an education background and we want to educate people on the steps of actually acquiring property, whether it's for themselves, it's for investment, or vacation, if it's just to live life. But it is a process, and you have to set a time, and you have to start early. You can't you have a less success rate, or we have experience with our buyers. You have a less success rate when you contact your realtor. Hey, I got to move out in a month. I need the place in a month. Yeah, your success rate has lowered.
Right.
But
Unless you're ready to go.
unless you're ready to go, have everything prepared. But if you come to us or come to our seminars or anything like that, you'll have a chance to map that out, and your success rate will be higher, that you will complete and get the home that you want. And you won't get a home that you're just okay with having. You're going to get a home that you're satisfied with, you know.
Yeah, so you said a lot there too. And I like what you said regarding taking the time to plan. And I want to ask you a personal question because I remember this story. I remember my wife and I went through something similar. We didn't know any better coming out of college, and we had to figure out, we were young and figure out what we wanted to do. And we had to fix our credit too. So when you said you didn't think it could happen. Yeah. Number one, why did you feel that way? Because there's a lot of people that don't think they can do it. So I want them to hear your story. And two, what changed it?
So I actually come from a family that has a real estate background. My parents were entrepreneurs. They own a lot of properties and things of that nature. This wasn't my first rodeo. But I felt very intimidated. It was my first time actually purchasing a property myself. And it was through a mortgage. So I had to use a mortgage, get my credit together. It was my first time doing that entire process. And it was intimidating. It was intimidating to start. What made me good over that hump or that hurdle, it was actually my mother. Mm-hmm. And she told me, she said, Sadan, it's not as hard as you think it is. You're making it much larger than it is. Just take the first step. Once you take that first step, and which is what holds our culture back a lot of people in our culture, is just initially saying, hey, it's time to take the first step.
Right. One of the things I like, and I'm gonna get to Tracy, thank you for sharing that, is the wealth building piece of this. And you guys have heard me talk about this, but we talk about wealth, but I mean really going into, we get the application together, but we're gonna talk and dive into the, how you build wealth, and that's the key of taking a step. I think we have to come up with a budget. We all have to fine tune things, the things that's going on in this economy right now. America's at all-time high debt when it comes to credit card and spending. How do we address and deal with those things? So all of those things play a factor. But you're right. Taking the first step is looking at things and seeing where you're at right now. Tracy, I'm bringing it back to you.
Just back to your question. If I was to talk to our community, what would I tell them right now? I would talk to, I guess the people who I would talk to in our community, not to just pinpoint it, but kind of how you touched on it, is the college students coming out of college. Knowing that they can actually, buy a home coming out of college by using their transcripts.
Oh yeah.
So just what we don't know. So the things that we don't know, I know I came out of college, right? Went into the NFL. So I wasn't thinking about home ownership or real estate or things of that nature. So
you're trying to get your career going.
Mm-hmm,
right.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. But which most individuals coming out of college are, they're trying to get their career going. So you come out of college, you can use your transcripts to purchase a home if you're going into your field. If you're already working in your field.
Yeah.
So that's just I guess a group that I would really talk to.
And just some first time buyers and college students. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And just me personally, myself, how did I first home that I was able to obtain, it's really just through finding this distressed owner. maybe one up in your family. In most cases, it is. At the time, I was like 2018, 2019. I was in a network marketing company. It's like sales, so I have a very I guess experienced, or I'm very good in sales. I have a sales background. Talking to people is kind of my niche. I can do that face to face, person to person. I'm a very personable person. But yeah, so just transitioning to that, that was, I'm like, okay, what's the next step? Sales, real estate. How can I get a home? I didn't know nothing about the home buying process.
Most of the time we don't.
Yeah,
they don't teach us that. We don't teach us about budget, none of that, or what we need. I mean, we learn a lot of that stuff from our family. But,
yeah, no, that's true.
Yeah.
So what
hard knocks on our own.
Yeah, the hard way, right?
Yeah.
But no, so I was just how can I get into it? So I found out about wholesale, and with wholesale was just always referencing, finding the distress owner, and at the time, it was like everything that I was watching was talking about the wealth transfer, the baby boomers transferring the wealth now to millennials, so that had me, my grandmother was in a situation, where she was a distress owner, so I was able to actually obtain my first property through that way, and I'm pretty sure that there's so many individuals out here, who just let their grandparents' property go to waste, and that could really be their first step into home ownership. And yeah, so again, just I guess exhaling all of your resources, and before you think it's not possible.
Good. Thanks for sharing.
That's a way of us keeping our community.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, it's keeping your community, but also they're not just, it's having a broader mindset. I'll compare it to this. Sometimes, and I'm including myself in this because this is the decisions that we make in our mindset. It's what we think. Scripture says, "The man thinketh, so is he." So, like when we're sitting, I heard the parable of the bird that was locked in the cage the whole time, right? You guys heard this, right? And the cage was open, and the bird wouldn't come out. And so, I think some of it, the education, right? What you just talked about, we need encouragement. We got to take a step to move forward, and not only you buy one house, you can potentially buy another one to build wealth. Again, 2 or 3 houses, we're leaving it out for your kids, passing that on, can make a difference in the wealth transfer. And you giving your kids head start. And this is something, and I'm going to speak personal on this a little bit, because I believe completely different about this than how I was taught. So my mom, you're hearing this, I love you. So the thing is, a lot of times we're taught that, hey, our kids, they get 18, 19, all right, get out, go figure it out. Guys, you're setting your kid up to fail. And that's just in general, the good book says a good man leaves an inheritance, a wise man leaves an inheritance for his children. And inheritance is not just financial, although it's part of that, it's how our knowledge and things that we pass down. But I'm bringing that up because we talked about our community and our wealth. As we teach to get rid of the fear, and we teach things that we learn, and we make their lives a little easier, you're supposed to want the next generation to do better.
Oh, yeah.
And I think our generation understand that a little bit better. Now, we might be a little soft sometimes, or we need to be a little tighter like our parents was, but we understand that part. You mentioned you don't have kids yet, Tracy, but you mentioned that even if they don't have your athletic genes, that you want to help them to have a little bit easier than what you did. I heard that in your voice, the things you share, right? And I mean, that's what we're supposed to do. Yes, you want to teach your kids. Yes, you work hard, work for things. But look, gosh, doggy, they've had to work hard all their lives. You think about just by coming into this earth and getting that start. So we love on them, but how we make their lives a little easier, and pass that on. You think about all the millionaires that's out there besides them having it in real estate. A lot of times we joke about being born on the right side of the tracks. Right. They were born on a different side of the tracks and they had a head start. So how do we give our kids a head start? We're showing you how. It's real estate. 80% of millionaires hold their wealth from real estate. And I'm tying that all back to us. We talk about do free. You might be like, oh, it's too late. I'm 55 years old. I'm saying you're still, whether you pay that house off now, you're still giving your kids and grandchildren a heads up step. You guys want to comment on that?
Oh, yes. So even if you have a house that's 10 years, you've only owned your house for 10 years, that's still a head start if your child decides to take over your mortgage. You also, you're allowing your children to also see that mindset, because a lot of times if you have rented your whole life, your children, they're going to follow right where you were and rent their whole lives too. They have generations on housing vouchers. But a lot of times we've seen voucher holders that are able to rent, and they have programs to assist with being able to own your own home.
Sure.
So just even if it's just the idea of letting your children know that they can own their own, that they can have that, because what we call our house is that safety spot. All of our children, even the ones that have gone out and gotten their own homes or gone out into the world figuring things out, our house is always going to be that safety net for them. They can't come back to regroup. We've had to do it in our lives. So
all of us at different points, right?
Yes. So just that piece to pass that down, just to pass that option, whether they want to own or not right now, let them know that they can and how to do it.
Yeah, that's good. So you made me think of a story, and I promise you I'm not going to make this hard, but I'm thinking about why you were saying that. I think of the story of the prodigal son, right?
Mm-hmm.
So for the longest, I always thought that story was about the son. Like grabbers, like it's about the son. He went out. For those you don't know, the Bible talks about the son that went out. He asked his father for his inheritance, spent all his money, spent everything. He went acting a fool, right? But when you read it, you start looking at it's more about the father. So it says that he went out, and the father represents God. He went out looking for him every day. Different perspective, right? Home, right? So he looked at him from afar, and you talked about safety net. From afar, he saw him. And before he even had a chance to ask for forgiveness, what did he say to him? Go get the roll. Go get the ring. We're going to have a calf, right? So we're having a little fun with this. I mean, but it's true. So it's that we got to change our perspective. And that's his home, right? He was that ring and that calf and that roll, to me, represents restoration right away. You know, and so when you think about that as far as like how we teach our kids in homeownership land, the sooner we begin to take a step and build wealth, the sooner we can make their lives easier. Whether they make, that was an example, he spent all he had, he messed up, right? But how we go about doing things and setting up the inheritance for them will make a huge difference, whether you got kids or not. You know, they got enough for you. You know? I'm sorry for teaching. Listen, I got 3, and you were thinking, oh, my house is like 10 of them over there. So, but that, I mean, they're a blessing though. That to me, which one would you rather have, $1 million in the bank or your 7 kids? I'll take the 7 kids. Right. You know, some of y'all like, give me $1 million. So,
Brian, I do want to say something about a mission about our company.
Yes.
When we set our mission out, and this is a daily confirmation that we do amongst our team, is that we want our people, or we ask for God's people, and it's for us to be able to help them to the highest of our ability. We want to make a change in our community where we can see our children's or the community children grow and prosper. We want to see people own, but we do it upon the Spirit of God on how He leads us.
That's good.
So we want to, when we make that prayer every morning, when my wife and my nephew say, hey, Lord, send us your people and have your Spirit show us how to help each person, because everyone is an individual. Being in real estate, and when you're helping people in real estate, it's not a cookie cut thing.
No.
Every
person is different.
Every person is absolutely different. There's a new plan, a new strategy, and there's different situations. And that is the purpose of our company, is to create plans, strategies for your individual needs to get to your specific goals.
That's good. And I like that you do that. I mean, that's, one of the reasons why I wanted you guys on the show. I wanted people to get to know you, right? I can talk about real estate. We can talk about mortgages. We've got all the programs. You guys know how to take people through. We got a workshop coming up in 2 weeks. We're going to talk about that. We want to promote that a little bit. And then not this weekend, but the following weekend. So they'll be back on here next week to just share more. But we want you guys to come with any questions. Share. We'd like to ask those questions. We normally get live questions in here, so I know the screen's a little different. But I think it's important that you know who you're working with and you know that you care. And I mean, to get this question, I'm going to ask the question and answer it, then I want you guys to answer it too, because I know you all are faith believers. It's like, man, I've heard so many people say, does that hinder your business? And I say, no. I mean, there's people that don't believe in God that still want to work with me because they just believe in how we do business. But to some degree, I feel like if they're offended by me having faith, then that probably wasn't the right person for me to work with anyway. You know, and it's not like you don't have to be a Christian to come work with us. You can be whatever. We're going to treat you right when no one's looking. Mm-hmm. How do you guys have that? You know, how do y'all feel about just sharing? How you just share your guys' faith like that? How do you think that affects your business?
All right, guess I'll go first. So for me, we don't treat anybody differently. So when a person comes to us for help, we don't actively say, "Hey, look, I'm a Christian."
No, I don't need that.
You know, so
I actually run for those people when they say that. I'm like,
all right. So
look out.
We have friends and work and clients of all different denominations, different religions, different preferences of sexuality, and all those things. And these people are good friends of ours who continue our referral base. And that's what I believe what a true Christian is. Mm-hmm. You know, you're not supposed to judge others and cast stones and everything of that nature. You're supposed to live the life how Jesus would. And Jesus did. He lived his life helping people.
He loved on people.
He loved on people. And that's exactly what I'm gonna do. And if a person happens to ask me, like, hey, you know, man, I see you're a moral man. What do you believe? And then that's my opportunity. But I know that if God has sent this client to me, regardless of his origin, race, religion, he sent me there to do my best of my ability to help them. And that is what our goal is. You know, so it doesn't hinder our business at all. You know, at all.
It's good.
Well, I don't know if we can really expand on that much. But he definitely said it all. It is we're not the judge. We are here to help. And a lot of times that may not be much profit for us. But if your first home is a $70,000 house and we do not get much commission from it, I still want to see you in your dream home. So it's even if it's the starter home, because I know what we put out comes back.
100% agree.
Comes back.
100%, you know.
And that's it. That's it.
Trish, you got anything you want to
add? No, I think Sedona did a good job of summing it up, and Kathy, me personally, I'm still in my studies, so I'm still in my studies. So, if anyone was to ask me, I was just telling them I'm still in my studies. I'm not one to judge. Like I said, I have loved ones from all different walks of faith, religion. Like I said, I did. Sedona did a great job.
You did. You backed that without a part. Yeah. I just had to let them talk too, because So, hey, David, Devon, do you have that screen set up for us? Is that you need me to go log in real quick? Okay, give me 2 seconds. I want y'all to keep talking about homeownership. We're going to jump in. I want to show y'all something real quick. Just ask them questions, y'all.
So, with the process of real estate, that's the biggest part. That's what we're finding with most of our clients. When you come out to seminars and come and meet us, we want you to know the process. If you're even experienced buyers, real estate is not something that is, like I said, a set thing. Every year, every month, something's changing. There's new programs, there's new stipulations, new rates.
New rates. So what someone else did, the path that they followed to homeownership may not be your path. It's probably not your path in this market for today. So it's the biggest part is it's a mindset. Wanting to own your own is a mindset, and you just have to take that first step to then sit down and make that plan. And once you have the plan, it's something to look forward to, and it's easy to follow to get to your goal, whatever your goal may be, because everyone's goals are not the same in real estate. So whatever your friend told you they did and what happened with them, that's not your goal. That's not your path.
And they're not always truthful with you
And-
either.
Right.
So, man, the time is flying by. I want to show us something. We all talked about building wealth, and we get to do this again next week together, right? So, so we can promote. We're going to promote the event, not this week, but you'll get a chance to meet us the following week. We're going to be in South Holland, right? And we're going to
23rd, 11 a.m.
Yeah, we're going to be teaching about home ownership, and I can't wait to see you guys there. So I want to share something with you guys, and I love using this screen here. Let's make it a little bit bigger. There we go. So this is an example of a house in, let's say, South Holland for $400,000. So then I want you to hit that renting screen and just, open that up a little bit with that arrow to the left, all the way to the left, purple top left. No, down. There you go, right there. So this is going to show you what the average rent is going for a $400,000 house in South Holland. And I use South Holland. That's where we're doing the event. It's one of the areas. I mean, this is just an example. Moody Analytics looked at this. It says it's about $3,200, okay, in rent, and then that's in renter's insurance. The other thing is the annual rent increase is about almost 6%. You can see that over there. When we go to the right on a house like this, and it depends on your taxes and insurance. You know, it's basically showing you that the cash flow of buying a home compared to renting over a 9-year period is $59,000, all the way to the right there, cash flow difference. Underneath that, it talks about appreciation gain. So this is just saying in 9 years, right? If we use the average rate of 3%, 3.19%. So go down just a little bit so we can hover over that rate so people can see what we're talking about. To the left, right there, go down right there, right over that rate where it's green, 3.19%. So we're saying this is what we're seeing in the market based off Moody Analytics is saying this is, you know, your average appreciation over a 9-year period. We're also calculating the cost of sale. If you decide to sell your house, you may not decide to sell your house in 9 years. You might decide to keep it and buy another one. Decide to sell, you know, the cost we say is 6%. That's we're deducting $32,000 from that. The amortization gain, right? That's the amount of principal you pay in 9 years. I hear some people say, I'm only paying $45,000. Well, if you're paying rent, you're paying zero in interest. In principal. What we're looking at too, when we get ready to run these numbers, guys, I want you to think about this. We're being conservative on appreciation, and we're being, you know, what the average rents are going for. Okay. We're not taking into consideration that you get to write off all the interest and the property taxes. That's a huge benefit. We're also not taking into consideration. No, sorry, we are taking consideration the appreciation, but we're not taking consideration the interest and the property tax you get to write off. So if you go down here for a second here, we're going to hit this results button. I love doing this. It's one of my favorite things to do in our market. So we're going to show results of what this looks like for you. So in 9 years, basically, if you play your cards right, and we're being conservative, you made yourself a couple $100,000. Let's say we're wrong and it's 1%. Okay, you made yourself $160,000. This is how you build wealth. Now, most people can't save up $200,000 in 9 years, right? Even if it's 150, right? So this is why buying a home leverage goes up in value. On the same token, besides 2020, I know when I always make the joke about giving all this PPP money, is that remember in Barbershop 2, that Cedric Sanders said, if you give all of us $50,000, Cadillac will be out of business. So that's when cars went up in value, right? So that's basically what happened, guys. So that's when you talk about inflation and stuff like that, that's what happened. But most of the time, cars don't go up in value unless it's a classic or something like that. So if you're buying a car for 50, 60, 100,000, that car has gone down every single time. Okay, 90% of the time. 2020 was an epidemic. So this is how you build wealth, and then you do it again, and you rinse and repeat. Before I go to my next thing, we got a few minutes. Anybody want to comment on that? I like putting the numbers to this so we can see it.
I know one thing we have not touched on is that a mortgage is also not forever.
Right.
You know, so a mortgage is 30 years. So after 30 years, that house is yours. All you do is pay your taxes. So
And insurance.
and insurance.
Yes, your insurance.
Please pay
Taxes
your
and
insurance
right.
as well. So it's also, you know, it's not only are you gaining all of this equity in your home, it's not a forever thing either. So just always keep that in mind because rent is forever.
So I had a client, old client that came and asked for some advice yesterday. And he said he had bought his house from us. He's owned the house for about 3 years now. And he says, Sadar, I want to get into buying investment properties. I said, man, how can I get a loan? How can I get a hold of that money? And I said, hey, man, you remember when we purchased your house with equity? The money is in your house.
You can take out a line of credit.
Take out a line of credit.
Yes.
And use your property.
Use the bank's money.
Use the bank's money to make your investments.
100% true. I would actually recommend you do that. And I just saw a question popped up, 30 years. So I want to hit on that. I'm gonna hit both of those questions together that we can tie this all in. And we got next week too, y'all. So we got to share this. You guys got to come back, share,
Right.
and we'll get this thing rolling. But the thing about 30, so my belief changed after coaching. So you guys, I've been coached for about 9 or 10 years. So I used to believe that you can pay your house off, and you can. I would tell people, I would call it the 2 and 18. If you send in 1 extra payment to principal, you knock 6 years off your mortgage. If you send in 2 extra payments to principal, you knock another 6, so you're done in 18. I would even go as far to tell you this. If you're paying $100 a month extra, like it's a $1,200 mortgage, that's 1 extra payment. Then around tax time, you get more money back, and you do a principal reduction. I don't necessarily believe that anymore. Okay. And the reason why I don't believe that is because of that number right there.
Yeah.
So, and when you hit over 50 is when you start to begin to put more down on principal. But here's why: you still, with the tax amount, and you talk to an accountant that they charge us, you need a mortgage for deductions. You need something. You're better off buying another mortgage to have more deduction and get another house. So when you look at compounded interest, just like this works in your favor, other taxable benefits work in your favor. A 401k that your company matches works in your favor. This gets under my skin. 2 things gets under my skin a lot. I don't talk about it, but this like bothers me a lot. Is when I see older people not having any money in their retirement and not owning a home. Those are 2 things you and I say, I don't care if you're 60, 70, 80, I don't care. You can start as long as you can afford it. The key, starting younger does help you though. So if you're buying a home and instead of you paying off that property, you say, and I'll tell you what I do. I think 10% to tithes and offering you can give if you don't believe in that. 10% to saving, 10% to investing. Now that investing goes along with our 401k. It'll live off 70. Okay. The key is the money doubles every 7 years or so, 7 to 8 years, regardless of market unit. So if you put in, let's call it, I'm going to use easy math. Let's say it's $1,000 a month at an average rate of 7 to 8%. You do that for 20 years, that's about $400,000. Okay. So in 20 is about $400,000. So just doing that simple math, 12 grand a year, or, you got 2 household income, you can break that up in 4 payments, but then you also have your employer matches it. So that's 2 folds of wealth we just built there. We built a 401k in investments. We built some other retirement, outside retirement, and we bought property. Now, when you get ready, you get older, you get a lower taxable income, you can turn around and pay that house off because you have other things to help you if you want to even go that route. So I know don't mean to go that deep depth into numbers, but simply put, is that you save for long-term investment. The credit card companies understand this very well. That's why they charge us interest. But I'm just telling us to pay ourselves first. And then you get your home. So I talked to someone yesterday. He said, well, can I pay this house off early? I was like, yes, you can. Well, are you maxing out your 401k? Talk to a financial planner. Because if you're not, are you doing other investments? Are you saving? Or is there other savings account just in case something happens?
Yeah.
Because if you're paying rent, you're not getting any of this anyway. So it's about this is how you guys build wealth. This is how this is what we do for a living. We help people build wealth, and we're going to educate more on this in about a week next Saturday, right?
Yes. September 23rd.
So we're still doing good on time, guys. So any last minute thoughts? We got a few minutes to kind of go through. Oh, the event. Let's talk about the event. So that's going to come on next Saturday. What time again?
11 a.m. to 1 p.m.
Okay. And we'll give you the address stuff because we want you to tune in next week. It's going to be in South Holland. And I'm also doing this. I'm sponsoring a tour of homes this weekend and next weekend. So I'll be at 2 places at the same time. Well, I'll have to make that work. So if you guys got questions about wanting to build and things like that, let us know. They can also help you with the new construction side of things. But here, we talk about the wealth part. We talked about the benefits of home ownership. just really quick, and I'm looking at my watch at the time. What other hurdles do you think might be holding someone back, or what's holding someone back? We answered that question about the 30 year for buying a home.
So this market, go ahead.
You got a couple minutes. Go.
So right now, and this is why we have the mortgage jewel.
Oh, you remember that, huh?
So the mortgage jewel is going to be there talking about incentives as well. So that is a big hurdle for most people in our market for buyers. It's trying to find incentives, trying to find ways to close, get money to close on properties. As realtors, if you have a realtor, if they're not trying to get the property at the best strategic purchase price, that's either lowering the purchase price for you or getting you money, like what is called seller's credits for you, then you're dealing with the wrong realtors. But it comes both hand in hand. So it comes with your mortgage officer, who is going to help you try and with his products that are out there and that they personally have, and with your realtor aggressively negotiate.
That's good.
Oh no, I was just gonna say, just kind of to piggyback off of Don, right now in this market, the interest rates are kind of high, so that's kind of, scary for anyone who's looking to buy or purchase. But as you mentioned, if you buy now with higher interest rates, you are buying into equity. And as well as it's predicted that experts, I should say, predict that rates will go down second quarter. So
That's for most things, yeah.
So why not hop into the market right now? And again, we can always refinance, later on. So, but no, I would say that the interest rates, the increase of interest rates steadily going up is kind of something that's frightening.
Yeah, and they're relative, right? Rates, we're seeing rates in the 6s and 7s. When I first got into business, that's about where they were. Prices was a little bit less, a lot less then. You could get into a first time home. You could build a home for $250 back then in 01, 02. That's changed, right? But that being said, doesn't mean you can't get in the game. Just like the screen we showed with that product. Even if you bought a house, that was $400, but let's say you bought a house for $200,000 and it goes up to $270, you make $70 or you make $80. 7-8 years from now, that's still money now you have compared to renting that you can maybe buy your dream home.
Yeah.
You don't have to stay put, or you can say, I'm going to rent that house out. So there's a bit. The key is getting in the game. The deal of a lifetime comes around once a week. That's a Robert Kiyosaki quote. Yeah. So you say that's one of the books here, but but it does. So how do you look at that? How do you take and make that step? And it starts by, I mentioned this earlier, is looking at where you're at, and taking a step to be able to buy a home and see where you're at and move forward. That's what it's all about. You're not going to know sitting on the couch. You're losing money every day to do that. And you got to be encouraged to be able to take that step. And we got the right people up there to help you. It's just a matter of you being encouraged and saying you can do it. And you can do it. Yeah. Simply put, you can do it.
You can do it.
Yeah. There's a ton of programs out here. Just kind of going back, piggybacking, and we were playing with that one. We were talking about they want first, last month, and security deposit. And they're checking your credit, and they're saying that they're deciding what your debt ratio is, what it can be.
Deciding if you could have a pet or not.
Right. Decide if you can have a pet or not. That's good. You can't. You decide you want to paint your walls purple like this thing in here. Paint your walls purple. You can't. So there's a lot of benefits to homeownership, man. I just want to say thank you guys for coming on the show. I appreciate you very much. Went by super fast. We got to do this thing again next week. We're gonna share specifically about programs, and I want you guys to bring some of the stories and some of the you got over. I'm gonna make Tracy tell his testimony too. How he overcame his injury and just anything that you guys been through, because we've all been through struggles. That's the thing. You see that these are real people. These are not silver spoon people. I don't think anyone in here came from the Hilton money. No. Okay, so we don't have that issue. You have to worry about that. We know what you're feeling, and we're going to help you become homeowners. if you want to reach out, you got to tune in next week though. I'm going to have you guys give out one number because I don't want them to get confused. So the best person to call, you want to call the brains operation. So if they wanted to reach the Wilson team, what's the best number to call?
Yes, you'll want to call 708-297-7689.
Again,
708-297-7689.
yeah, we got 3 people that's going to help y'all
That's right.
on this
That's
Wilson
right.
team. You were about to mention something.
Yes, you can also look at our link tree,
Okay.
which is linktr.ee/the Wilson team.
Okay.
So find us on social media. We should be tagged now, and you'll be able to get started on your journey.
Cool. I hope this information was very helpful for you guys. I always appreciate you tuning in. Make sure you share, subscribe, follow us every week from 4 to 5 on Thursdays. But if you're looking to get a mortgage, you want to buy, sell, or refinance, we'd love to be your lender of choice. Give us a call. I got a team as well, 630-352-0629, 630-352-0629. Or you can apply online at mytrustedprovider.com. That's mytrustedprovider.com. I promise we will take really good care of you. God bless you. We'll see you next week.
Views made on the preceding program are not those of WVTC Radio, iNetworks Communications, or their financial supporters.
Winning victory through Christ. WVTC Allsip Chicago.